Received an email this morning from Moria, who took Alex the cat, sort of semi-adopted cat here, and she's going to bring him to Som, who is his new adoptive family, Som and her husband and Winston, her son. She took him to the vet to get him some shots and looked over, and they decided not to give him any shots because they said he needed to be monitored first as a wild cat. And I was just reflecting on this, getting this email and just thinking about attachment and how easy it is to get attached to anything as a human being. And how I was trying to reflect on that with this cat that I was others were taking care of him as well, but I was just looking after him and trying to arrange for this new adoption. And just the trickiness of not being attached to other beings, and how we enter into relationships with people, animals, whatever it might be. And it just is so easy for the mind to move into that sense of clinging and grasping, attaching ourselves to even things like outcomes and how we want something to be. So we look at like being in a monastery or becoming a monastic. It's really, we're making a decision to enter into a simplicity. And I was thinking about something like entering into a marriage and having children. This is something that I would imagine is just very difficult to practice with that sense of attachment or not being attached. And so it's possible to work with it, but it is all the more harder. And so I can see that just because either having had previous relationships, or I'm just comparing it to this cat, just this worry about this being. And so because this is often inevitable for us as human beings to get attached to other people, circumstances, situations, even just how we want something to be, or our memories of how something was. If we're trying to really bring in the Buddhist teachings, then we're taking in this awareness of our clinging, our grasping at things, and we're really trying to work with it. We're trying to bring that into our consciousness and say, well, how can I untangle that? So I think it would be wrong to say, well, I won't have anything to do with helping anyone or getting involved with anyone or any beings, or certainly wouldn't help a cat. I want to get attached. We just try to maintain an awareness around how we're grasping and clinging and moving with our attachments, and then we see how can I undo that. So this morning, just as a simple, very simple way, we chanted the 32 parts of the body. And so just reflecting on that, if I'm reflecting on that and I think about this cat Alex, and then which part do I adore? Which part is it that I'm really clinging to or attached to? Is it his liver or his brain? Maybe it's his excrement? Not really. It's just, it is a strange thing that we have a vision of an entire being or animal, and then we create that animal or person, whatever it is, however way we want. We create them as a sankhara in our mind. We get attached to that sankhara, and then when there's disappointment, when he says something that we don't like, or they do something that we don't approve of, or whatever it is, the amount of clinging that we have, the attachment that we have, it's just very parallel to the amount of dukkha that we're going to feel when things don't go the way we want. So we often have an opportunity just to continue to reflect on that. If somebody says something and we're disappointed by it, we can really think about that. What was the permanence that I was clinging to that? What was the unchanging nature that I saw? It was going to go my way, how I wanted it, or this person wasn't going to change, they were going to stay the same. I was going to have this cat forever. And so we really try to use these reflections that we have that the Buddha keeps teaching us about, whether it's something like not self. We use that sense of dukkha to understand it, and then to say like, oh, why do I want to really be associated with that? Why do I want to create that in my life? And then we can try to untangle ourselves from the complexities we get ourselves involved in. And so as I've been mentioning, all of these things we can get attached to, but the one singular thing that we are most attached to as human beings is our own body, our own existence, our belief in ourself as a continual, non-changing being. We call I, me, or mine. And so our obligation with the practice is, even as we're using samadhi, we're trying to cultivate that. It's really to turn that pointed sense of clarity around and look at the conditions that we're creating for ourselves and how to really let them go and untangle ourselves. And that's how we can become truly released from dukkha. You want?